Hi, I'm Joe Saunders with Miniature Landscape Hobbies, and in this episode, I'm going to cover a method for building bases for your terrain. This method is really effective and super easy, but most importantly, it's free to do. Let's get to it. Miniature Landscape Hobbies is proudly supported by these sponsors. You can't deny the absolute necessity of building bases for your terrain and models. The purpose, of course, is to help you position your work on the games table or in a diorama. Bases also help protect your work and keep it rigid to help make things square and orderly during the build process. But this necessity also makes bases an issue for a lot of builders. Why? Well, you need them, but they're also generally of secondary importance to the model or scratch build you have lovingly prepared to go on top of it. I know I don't really like burning a ton of time building a base, applying grit, etc., when the more interesting building or geographic feature that is going to sit on top of it requires my immediate attention. There's also the issue of cost. Bases are usually made out of MDF, masonite, foam core, or specific products made for the purpose. And, of course, every model builder knows that every cent you spend on basing takes away from your budget for more models. Which is kind of sad, really. Especially if those models are tanks. But what if I told you there's a dead simple method for building terrain bases that's effectively free and looks great when using a quick and effective method for applying grit? Well, there is, and it involves our humble model building ally, cardboard. Now wait, I hear you say, but cardboard warps. It's certainly free if you pull it out of the recycling bin, but most builders rightfully say that it's not durable enough. But, in fact, it is, if you use the right method. All you really need is some spare cardboard, sand, and grit, a little rubbing alcohol, paint, and of course our friend Mod Podge, or white glue if you'd rather. When done correctly, you can make bases quickly and cheaply that look awesome on the table. So let's jump in so I can show you how. I'd like to take a quick moment to thank my Patreon supporters. Without their assistance, Miniature Landscape Hobbies would not be possible. If you would like to learn more about the benefits of becoming a Patreon supporter, please check the link in the video description. To build great cardboard bases, you first have to consider your cardboard. Any decent piece that's not too warped or pliable will do. You can, however, do yourself a favor and look for the stuff that has more than one ply. If you can find 2-ply cardboard off the bat, then you'll have an even better piece. I found last Christmas that a lot of newer Lego products are shipping in 2-ply cardboard. So if you have any spare Lego boxes kicking around, that's a good spot to start. But let's assume you don't have that, and that you only have the run-of-the-mill 1-ply cardboard handy. Don't worry, this'll work fine too. Start by tracing the area of the base on your piece. Then, using a good knife, just cut it out. I tend to build terrain in batches, so I usually cut several pieces at once. And now we come to the critical part. So listen carefully. Turn the bases you just cut 90 degrees and put them back on top of your cardboard sheet. Now go ahead and draw a slightly larger base around the original. You can then go ahead and cut it out. What's important to understand here is that each base has 2 layers where the grain in the cardboard crosses at a right angle. If you look at the pieces from the side, you want to make sure that you only see the corrugation on one level. When the corrugation is crossed, this creates strength that you need to resist warping. Now you can glue the layers together. I use hot glue, but any glue will work here. When this is done, go ahead and wrap the edges in masking tape. This of course gives extra structure to your work, but it also helps hide the gradient between the pieces, creates an organic look on the edges, and stops glue and paint from penetrating into the corrugation, which can cause it to swell in the later stages of the build. Now it's time to look at applying grit to texture the base. This is not only important to add realism and interest, but also helps reinforce the base, as when it's properly applied, a glue, grit, and acrylic paint mixture is quite rigid and durable. As always, to do this, I use the rubbing alcohol method. I've covered this method in plenty of videos, but I think it bears another look, as it's extremely important. This is the same method that you would use to base any model, not just terrain. To do it, you'll need rubbing alcohol, Mod Podge mixed with black acrylic paint, some mixing cups, a pipette or syringe, and some grit. For the grit, I mix sandbox sand in a 7:3 part ratio with clean kitty litter. The Mod Podge paint mixture is used twice. The second time, it's mixed with water until it flows freely. I use this so much that I keep a bottle mixed up ahead of time, but you could of course mix it on the spot if you wanted. First, you spread the Mod Podge paint mixture on the surface of the base, and then sprinkle it with your grit. While everything is still wet, mix it all with rubbing alcohol. The alcohol breaks the tension and allows the glue to penetrate between all of the grains of sand. I use a mist bottle for this, but you could use a syringe or pipette to apply it if you wanted. Now the watered down Mod Podge paint mixture is applied over top. After all this, you'll have quite the mess, so just leave it to dry overnight. Someone will ask, so yes, you can just use white glue instead of Mod Podge. In my opinion, it takes longer to dry and doesn't bond as well, but it still works. After everything is dry, you'll now have a very strong base on which to build the rest of your terrain. Usually I'll apply a little dry brushing to the grit, followed by static grass and any other elements like grass tufts or lichens, though this will vary depending on your build, of course. Finally, don't forget to varnish it all. This will allow your hard work to survive the rigors of handling and gameplay. After this, you should now have some excellent durable cardboard bases that you can use on your games table or diorama. Oh yeah, and because cardboard is the main ingredient, the base is effectively free, so you can afford to buy some more tanks. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Please remember to subscribe, press the bell button so you get immediate notification on our videos, and until next time, remember to keep building life in miniature.